Welcome, everyone, to the 7 cars you should buy in 2023, Winter Edition.
Yes.
First one of these, Chris and I drive a lot of cars week in and week out, and we've got a little bit of a beat on the new car market, and we want to share with you the cars we think are actually worth buying here in winter of 2023. So without any further ado, we're going to start out with one of the cars we recommend to anyone.
Yes.
Almost all the time, probably more than any other car.
Yes.
That is the Mazda CX-5.
I was just going to say, these are legitimate cars that we have actually recommended to our friends and people that we care about. So take our word for it that these are cars that you should absolutely buy.
Every time we've had a CX-5, even though it is getting a little bit older,
it certainly
we
is.
Still love this car. I
do.
Always appreciate driving it. It does everything you need and car to do right now. You can fit 5 adults in it if you need to. You can fit things in it. It gets decent fuel economy. You can get a faster one, a slower one. They're all-wheel drive now. They're priced affordably, and it still looks really good.
Yes, and now you can have colored cladding as well.
Yes, yeah, in the top-level trim,
and
you get
signature.
These. Yep, sort of here. A lot of great colors. Starts out at, don't believe this, $26,700 because you have to add destination on there. But even after that, you're at about $28,000 for a pretty well-spec'd crossover that's going to be fine if you're a single person, if you're a 2-person household, if you've got kids, if you just like traveling with pets often, something like that. It really is a compelling car to own for a lot of different people. Right here, $27,975 is what you're looking at if you want to get into an S model. We recommend going for probably the S. What is the second one? S.
Go to the trim layout. I like this car because it provides a higher end feel for people that are shopping in this category. I have a friend that went from a Subaru Forester to a Mazda CX-5, and she could not believe how upscale this car felt compared to the Forester. And that is really what this car provides is, I don't want to say that it feels luxurious, but it definitely feels at a higher level than similar cars in its price range.
So right at about $30,000, you can get heated seats, dual zone automatic climate control, and a power driver's seat. I think that's where I would go, this S Select. With most new cars, the second to the bottom trim is your best bet.
It's like when you're ordering wine at a restaurant.
You're right. Not the cheapest,
second cheapest.
Yep. Or if you're getting wine at a grocery store, second shelf up.
Sure.
Yep. A lot of different great colors you can get. Can you get
We'd
the
have
best
Soul
one?
Red.
Soul Red, Crystal Metallic.
I don't care how much it adds. I'd have Soul Red.
$595, but it does look like you can get it even on the S Select, which is pretty cool. Some other great colors include deep crystal blue mica, which isn't even an added cost.
That's a good one too.
That's pretty cool.
And then we had a nice white on ours.
I think we had this rhodium.
We had rhodium
white.
Yeah, that was a nice one as well.
Yeah. So highly recommend the CX-5. It's got all-wheel drive. Most people, when they say they want, like they need a new car, they're thinking something like the CX-5.
Yes.
The crossoverness. They say they need all-wheel drive, even if they don't actually. They think they need it. Get them the all-wheel drive. Get decent fuel economy. You don't have to screw with any sort of hybridization or complex powertrains. It's just going
simple,
to
straightforward car.
6-speed automatic, no turbo. That's a car.
Though if you do desire to have a turbo, Mazda will sell you one.
They will sell you
but
one.
But we wouldn't recommend you do that because it's kind of just, you don't need it.
Yeah, it's torquey. It's nice. It makes the car feel more premium, but it's nice enough.
Yeah.
Our second recommendation, and what I think is the smarter car than the CX-5, but I think fewer people are going to buy it because, again, they think they need all-wheel drive and a crossover, is the Honda Civic.
Yes.
The entire Civic lineup, we're talking anything from the base sedan, base hatchback, the SI, or even now the Type R. You can get all the way up to a super hot version. They make a lot of cool configurations for this car, automatic, manual. Pick your flavor, and you're going to have a really good car. In fact, just last night, Alyssa and I walked by a Civic in the gray color. They have the Sonic Gray.
Sonic Gray.
Black wheels.
With like the green kind of
a little
pearl.
bit of yeah. And she was just like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like,
color.
yeah, and that's like a $26,000 car right there. What I like about the Civic is that it provides a lot of what people need. Maybe not the things they think they want, like the all-wheel drive and the extra space and everything, but you do still get quite a good amount of room in all the 2 rows and the cargo area. You can get it in so many different flavors: sedan, hatch, SI, full top trim, Type R, a lot of different colors, 2 different transmissions, 4 different engines, depending on how you cut it, because different tunes and everything like that. So many different options, and pretty good price. A lot of good features. You're getting wireless CarPlay and a Bose sound system if you step on up to it. A lot of the things people want, and it's just a nice place to be inside.
Yeah. The Civic is the car for our generation of people realize that not all of them need SUVs. You don't have to have the HRV. You still can find value in the Civic. Like you said, ton of room in the back seat. I mean, comparable, I would say maybe even more than some SUVs that are, in the same segment. So
absolutely. And I think a lot of people overlook the fuel economy differences between a car and an SUV. They might kind of look at the mixed driving figures and be like, oh, well, I'm only losing like 5 or 6 in this SUV or whatever. But you get the Civic on the highway compared to something like that Mazda, you're going to be saving hundreds of dollars per year just in the reduction of rolling resistance and weight. And driving one of these, even at a base form, is just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's even though it's not nearly as light as Civics of past or anything, and there's no coupe anymore or anything like that, it's light for what's available now here on the new car market. A lot of different fun colors you can get, including one that Chris and I didn't even know you could get up until recently. I think it might only be on the
could only be on the hatch, yeah.
Yeah. Because you can get that Civic hatchback, which honestly doesn't look as hatchbacky as I think it should.
No.
It's a
well, you know why? It's because Americans don't like hatchbacks unless they sit too high off the ground.
Right.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people I've talked to that go, I don't like hatchbacks, but drive an SUV.
Yeah, it's like, just a hatchback.
It's a hatchback. It's just a tall hatchback.
Yeah.
So I don't get the logic there. Or I don't like hatchbacks, but they like Mini Coopers. I don't know.
So for $395, you can get purple, specifically smoky mauve pearl.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We think it's a pretty darn good color. If we bring up images here, you can kind of see what it looks like more in real life. Yeah, I mean, how many cars are you going to see that look like that?
A purple car is a good car.
A purple car is a good car. You can't quite get yellow, but pretty good. In fact, the other night we saw one of these Sonic Gray Pearl Civics in person, and Alyssa quite liked that. In fact, I think it was a sport because it had the black wheels. Although you could probably just throw these 18-inchers right on there.
I've always been a big fan of that color because when the light hits it just right, it's almost got like a green pearl to it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the first time I saw it was on a previous gen Type R. Back when I worked at a Honda dealership. One of the salesmen drove one, and sweet car.
Yeah. It is a bit unfortunate that when you really load this thing up with the Bose sound system, which I highly recommend, a lot of the different features.
Yeah.
I mean, this one fully tilted, you're looking at 32,653.
Which may seem steep for a Civic, but the Civic really has grown up. It really has stepped up, and it does give you a nice feel in that interior.
Yeah.
Especially with the Bose sound system and some of the driver assists and just the overall design language in there too that Honda's adopting is.
You could drive that as an adult for decades, and you won't feel like you're missing anything.
That's another thing is you can buy one of these and just drive it for 20 years.
Yes.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah. We always appreciate that about Hondas.
Yeah.
So if the sportiness of the Honda is not enough, you want a daily driver that's a lot of fun, the epitome of a grin factory, we always like to go back to the Hyundai Kona N. Now, any of the Hyundai N products are great, but the Kona N, when we had it, even though it's dual clutch automatic only, is front wheel drive, fantastic fun. It really is. It's loud. It's fast, remarkably fast.
Sometimes we like things that are hilarious.
Yeah, and the Civic or the Kona N is genuinely hilarious.
Apologies for the hoarse voice.
Certainly.
I had a cold
I'm
last
making
week.
Chris work on his sick days.
It's okay. I don't feel sick anymore. It's just
Good. You just sound sick.
The leftovers.
I will admit the Kona, it's not the most beautiful car in the world.
No,
but it's cool and it's different.
There's a lot going on. Yes. There's a lot of design. They've done a lot of drawing, but
a lot of ideas.
It is such a properly fun thing to drive. Torque steer, lift off oversteer, farts between shifts. It's such a thrilling experience. And I've actually driven one on track.
Yes,
and
I have as well.
Yeah, and you have as well. And I didn't expect it to be. This is okay. We've talked that there are multiple N cars. The Veloster N sadly died this year. But there's also the Elantra N, which is the car, and then there's the Kona N. This is the stiffest of them all. It's hilarious.
Yeah, shortest wheelbase too, so it rotates the best.
We also I went to an event for these N cars, and we drove all three on an autocross course. The Veloster, the Elantra, and the Kona. I was the fastest around the autocross course in the Kona. And this was after multiple goes and all. I mean, I probably did 20 laps of this autocross track. And I was the fastest. It was a red Kona, just like that.
You know what's making me a bit sad is I don't see the Hyundai Performance Blue color.
Oh, can you not have it anymore?
You used to be able to.
That's really sad. Maybe
That
for
is sad.
23, maybe no one was buying it. Oh,
Perhaps there's
that's
Sonic
it.
Blue.
Yeah,
no,
that's
this
it.
is not it. There's
Yeah,
no way
it
this is it.
Yeah, it is.
That's it?
Yeah, it just looks like
I think
light
it's a
on the
different
website.
color on the Kona N. Let's see. It's Performance Blue is that.
Sonic Blue is a lot lighter.
Sonic Blue is a lot lighter. Why would they do that? Maybe there's a chip shortage on blue hue.
Maybe.
They could only add so much to the paint, so they had to come up with a new color.
Okay. Well,
That's
that's
a
kind of
bit sad.
disappointing. Yeah, because that's the color I would have had.
Yeah. You know what this car does kind of look like? One of the other cars we recommend to people, the Chevy Bolt.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it does
Good
look.
segue.
It does look. Thank you. I appreciate that. The Chevy Bolt is my answer to a lot of people's electric car questions.
And your own electric car questions.
And one of my own electric car questions. We are very seriously considering purchasing a Chevy Bolt because the base car, the normal base Bolt EV, starts at about $28,000. But if you're eligible for the full $7,500 federal tax credit here in America, you're getting a car that costs about $21,000. That's pretty awesome. I mean, we're talking about an electric range, 250 miles.
Yep.
A lot of the interior features you want. Admittedly, the base Bolt does feel quite cheap inside, but it's the cheapest car we're recommending here, and it just happens to be fully electric. Some of the downsides with the Bolt are that's one we got coming up. It's got slower fast charging than most other EVs, only about 55 kilowatts, whereas something like what do we have right now? The GV60, that can go up to 350 kilowatts.
That's insane.
Yeah. So the Bolt is working on a 7 times less than that, essentially. But as a second car option in your household, and you're just charging from home each night and you're coming up to full, really cool option. When you fit a Bolt EV all the way up with all its features, premium or premier model rather, you can get, mind you, a little bit watered down version of Chevy's Super Cruise, which works really well. You can go on the highway and just let it drive, which is pretty darn sweet. It's the best autonomous driving system that we've ever used. And you get a big screen in the middle. You've got a usable amount of room for both humans and some stuff in the back. Not the prettiest car, I was going to
say, I'd have the regular Bolt. I wouldn't have the EUV.
And then why is that?
Because I think the EUV is hideous.
Unfortunately, I think the regular Bolt is hideous too.
Okay. What's that one?
This is the EUV.
Yeah, that one's ugly.
Well, let's look at the EV.
I like the fun to driveness of the Bolt as well. I don't know that if you touched on that or not, but the Bolt kind of provides a little bit of electric hot hatchery. You know, it's not the most fun, but it's like middle of the road kind of. If you do care about driving somewhat, then you'll have fun of the Bolt.
Yes.
Oh, that one's quite ugly as well, actually.
This is the color that Alyssa wants to get. This is kind of light sky blue color.
I like it though.
Yeah.
It's cute. Yeah. No, it's okay.
I mean, 259 miles of range, and that's fairly usable.
You get more miles than that than the EUV,
a little
right?
bit, yeah. It's fairly negligible, but yeah, we're like 15 more miles.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Bolt is it's just too tall.
You mean the appearance?
It's just very strange looking.
Well, it looks like a computer mouse.
It does, yeah. So if you want to drive around in a computer mouse,
then the Bolt is for you.
Yes.
And look at all these things you can fit in.
Oh, yes. Gotta love taking things with you.
You need a Chevy that has a whole lot more space, however. We also recommend the Chevy Silverado.
And if you need a Chevy that has the full suite Super Cruise, the
Yes.
full out, do everything for you, have a Silverado with Super Cruise, because I will never forget the week we had that. I was blown away driving that thing on the highway because I had never experienced Super Cruise before. And we had a high country Silverado, and I drove it about 30 minutes on the highway, and I'd like never touched the steering wheel. It's like it's the coolest thing.
Yeah, you could do hundreds of miles of driving and be totally fine.
And not only will it stay in the lane and drive for you, it'll also overtake and get back over and do everything. You don't, I mean, when we say you don't have to do anything, we mean it. You just sit there and you watch the road. That's it.
That's the only thing you have to do is watch the road. And we're not going to go through and build every configuration possible of Silverado because there are about 1,000. You can count various trims and configurations and stuff. But as much as I like the F-150 and the Ram, I think the Silverado is the one to buy right now because I think their powertrains are going to be the most reliable.
Over the Tundra too.
Yes. Yeah. Even over the Tundra and the Nissan. Definitely the Nissan. I think I don't think they look the best. I actually personally would pick the GMC, but you can kind of interchange the Chevy and the GMC for a lot of things. So I think the powertrains are going to be the best. Everything from the 2.7 4-cylinder, which is actually a pretty cool motor.
That's a big 4-cylinder.
Yeah, it really is. All the way up to the 6.2 liter, which is a whole lot of fun. And I think the tech suite is the best balance of usability and showiness.
It's not overwhelming in that truck.
No. I think the Ram is second most usable, and I actually like the Ram's interior layout the best. I just still worry about Ram quality and reliability. And I think Chevrolet is going to be the way to go.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a downside that if you want rear heated seats, you can't have them.
Yeah, because of a chip shortage. And we mean that.
Yeah.
But they will install them at a later date, allegedly.
And give you a $50 discount for driving who knows how long without having. Here's my question for you. If you buy one of those, say like secondhand, if someone went and bought that High Country that we had and owned it for, say, 6 years or something and never got the retrofit, could you then get the retrofit for no cost?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, like how long are those going to be eligible?
I don't know, because it's almost like, does it go away when the warranty expires?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Bit strange.
Guess we'll see. It's a new issue in the market that we don't have the answer to yet. So, don't know.
We've recommended some utility type cars, some daily driver type cars, big, small,
fun cars.
But we have two more left, and one of them is a car that I think a lot of people have sort of written off at this point. But we still think that it's the purest representation of what a sports car is.
Yes.
And that's the Mazda Miata.
It's still relevant.
It's not the fastest. It's not the cheapest, although it's definitely not expensive.
I was going to say, and
they start like 26.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah, but what else can you really get that's that fun for 26?
That's true.
A Civic Si is not going to have nearly as engaging of a powertrain, and you can't put the top down, which is pretty important. And a GR86 is going to be way too loud. So, yeah, the Miata is still such a cool car. And what I appreciate about the Miata is as long as you don't come across somebody who has some sort of complex and they can't acknowledge good things in their life, people will appreciate the Miata. People will appreciate, they'll look at you and go, you enjoy driving, don't you?
Right, and you can have Soul Red.
Yes, you can have your Soul Red crystal. Look at that. Perfect 50. You can put it on a scale.
Also,
if that's what you want to do.
If you don't want a soft top, you can have the RF, which is a hard top.
Yes, and that one looks very cool.
Yeah, a power hard top.
If you just start off with a base car, I guess it is creeping up there in price. The 23 now starts at $29,000, but you get a great manual transmission.
What sort of automatic do you get in that? Is it just like a 6-speed auto?
I think it's just a 6-speed automatic. Yeah. It's not bad. I've driven it once, but it's giving up on one of the greatest manual cars available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good classic feel driving this car. Steering, shifter feel, clutch, brake, everything.
Yeah.
Real pure experience. And I'm sad that I haven't spent more time in ND Miatas. I hope that I've driven a few, but I've never spent more than like a day in one. So. But Charlie has, and
yes
knows.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love now with the ND2 with the facelift that you can't get the blue without getting the club. It's unfortunate. With the ND2 you have a much higher red line, so it really screams like a proper sports car.
Yeah.
Adds a little bit of extra power. It's really, really a fun
package. Why do they have it parked in such a dark area for the configurator?
I think they're trying to make it look sexy.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
You can get retirement color if you're into that sort of thing. Platinum quartz metallic.
Can I get a tan roof with it too? Oh,
that
it just looks white.
Yeah, you're right.
Or silver.
Well, it's because it's so dark. How about zircon sand metallic? Is that?
That's gold. There you go.
There you are. Sand.
Oh, no. You know what that is? That's the color we had on the CX-50.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
So it's like a gold,
Yeah. All right.
It's almost like a gold green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Miata, even though, again, getting a little bit older, if you don't want any BS with your sports car experience, that's the way you should go. And last but not least, our seventh car we recommend here in winter 2023 is the Volvo V60.
Yes.
Alternatively, maybe the XC60, but we particularly like the V60 Cross Country because it provides you nearly everything a luxury car can provide, but at a much lower cost, and just a great driving experience. It's a car that we never want to get out of.
No, we had one earlier this year, and it's the one car that I've been actually sad, annoyed, torn apart into pieces, just devastated that we had to give it back.
Yeah.
And it did a lot for me that week. My girlfriend was moving into a new house, and I used the V60 to move a lot of the stuff from her house, from where she was living before, and like, you wouldn't believe the amount of stuff I fit in this. Very practical. And also, it took the misery out of moving.
You're right. And part of that is because it has one of the best sound systems we've ever experienced, and that is the Volvo 60 series Bowers and Wilkins audio system. As Chris put it when we had the car, you're paying $60,000 for a sound system, and you get a free car attached to it. How excellent is that?
Yeah.
If you get a base V60, you're only looking at about $50,000, which is really incredible because you're still going to get the quietness of the car, the smooth riding. Unfortunately, we only get the cross-country model now here in America, so a little bit of extra ground clearance, a little bit of that plastic cladding. But if you really doll one of these up and get all the goodies, get something cool like this. That's not gray. There we go. Fusion red color.
Red.
Something nice like that. 19-inch wheels. Get something cool like maroon brown. Oh, you can't get maroon brown with red. It's unfortunate. What about blonde? There we go. Nice. Add some heated stuff. And go down here into Tech and Sound and get that $3,200 option for the Bowers and Wilkins. $60,000 flat. You are getting, honestly, a car that I would rather be in than most other new cars on the market right now. Yeah. It might not be the most reliable. Might not be the most fuel efficient.
And someday it'll probably be worth $2,000.
Yes.
But that's okay.
But you'll still be happy because your sound system will still be worth $60,000.
Yes.
So those are the cars we recommend on the new car market here in winter of 2023. We talked about it before this video. We really can't think of anything else that if someone came up to us on the street or a family member or something and said, I need a car. I mean, these are about what they are. And that's not to say there aren't other good cars. I mean, if you have a lot of kids, you're going to want a Toyota Sienna. If you have a lot of kids and you want them to burn, you're going to get a Chrysler Pacifica.
Oh my gosh.
Cut that out. If you want to go incredibly, incredibly fast, there's obviously great options out there for you, things like that. But these are the cars that speak out to us in terms of, oh, I would go buy one. And actually, the only car on here that I would highly recommend that we didn't include is the Ford Maverick. That's because you can't buy one.
Yeah, we were going to include that, but I think all of the 2023 model year Mavericks are sold out.
Yeah, they sold out within a week. It's almost like Ford had a feature drop.
Yes.
They were like all right,
Supreme.
2023 Mavericks dropped this week. Hurry in, get yours, and you can order it now and maybe get it in a year.
It's the most irritating thing about Ford, but we won't get into that.
Has your family friend received his Maverick yet that he ordered over a year ago?
I don't know.
You should find out.
I need to ask. I'll ask my dad.
Yeah, we'll find out for the podcast or something.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in 3 months to see if we change any of our recommendations. These might get quite stale if we just keep recommending the CX-5, the Civic, the V60,
the Miata.
and the Miata.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll come up with new things to say about them, I guess.
Exactly.
We're Charlie and Chris with Daily Motor, and as always, good car on.
Mm.